Let me tell you how a free Roblox game quietly became a true shooter giant. It is called Rivals, and right now it is one of the biggest games on Roblox. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of players online at the very same time, and more than 10 billion total visits, which is an absolutely staggering number. If you play Roblox, you have almost certainly seen Rivals near the top, and if you have not tried it yet, you will understand the hype very soon. But here's the part that makes this whole story actually interesting. Rivals beat shooters with far bigger teams and far bigger budgets behind them. A small Roblox studio outgunned games that cost millions of dollars to make. So today, let me break down exactly how Rivals took over Roblox. Stay with me, because the secret behind it is much smarter than it first looks. First, let me explain what Rivals actually is in case you have never played. Rivals is a first-person shooter, which most people simply call an FPS. That means you see the whole world through your own character's eyes. And you face off against other real human players, not computer bots. This style of game is called PvP, which is short for player versus player. Imagine the fast, competitive shooters older players love, made simple and free. The core idea of Rivals is about as simple as a game can possibly get. You step onto a special duel pad, and the game instantly matches you up. Then you fight, and the first side to win 5 rounds takes the whole match. You can play 1 versus 1 or team up all the way to 5 versus 5. That means up to 10 real players can battle inside a single match. The game hands you more than 40 different weapons, each with its own feel. There are main guns for range and melee weapons for close-up chaos. Utilities add little tricks, like tools that completely change how a fight plays out. Every weapon feels different, so finding your favorite one becomes half the fun. Some players live for sniper duels, while others rush in with shotguns blazing. There is a whole style of play waiting for almost every kind of person. Matches are short, sharp, and usually over before you can even get bored. You respawn fast, so you are almost never just sitting around and waiting. You do not need fancy gear or years of practice just to start having fun. The whole design respects your time, which players quietly but really appreciate. Winning takes aim, movement, and quick thinking, all at the very same time. Losing a round stings a little, which is exactly what makes winning feel great. It is easy to jump into, but it is very, very hard to truly master. That simple loop is the rock-solid foundation that the entire game is built on. But the loop alone does not explain how it got this absolutely massive. To understand the rise, you really need to know who actually built Rivals. It was made by a Roblox studio with a fitting name, Nazni Games. The studio is led by 2 developers known online as Nazni and Sensei. And here is the thing, they were not first-time beginners at all. This same team had already built earlier Roblox hits, like the popular Treasure Quest. A studio's past hits matter because they teach a team what players truly love. Treasure Quest taught them how to keep people grinding happily for rewards. They took all of those lessons and aimed them straight at the shooter genre. Knowing players already trusted their name gave Rivals a real head start. Rivals first launched all the way back in June of 2024. At the very start, it was popular, but it was not yet a giant. Many games launch very loud and then quietly fade away within a few weeks. Rivals did the complete opposite, growing slowly and steadily over many months instead. That slow, steady climb is often the clearest sign of a healthy game. It is the kind of growth that money cannot fake and hype cannot force. Month after month, it just kept climbing higher up the Roblox charts. Soon it was sitting right near the very top of the most played games. It crossed well over 10 billion total visits at some point along the way, and it regularly pulls in hundreds of thousands of players at the same time. Word of mouth did the rest, as friends kept pulling friends into matches. On Roblox, a game living near the top tends to stay there even longer. The charts themselves became free advertising, showing Rivals to millions every day. Then came a single moment that made the whole thing feel official. In 2025, Rivals won Best Shooter at the Roblox Innovation Awards. That is basically Roblox itself naming it the top shooter on the entire platform. Winning that award also pulled in fresh waves of curious new players. Bigger creators started making videos about it, and the numbers climbed even faster. Each new video acted like a free advertisement the studio never had to pay for, and the studio behind it grew into something almost hard to believe. Nazni Games became one of the 3 biggest groups on all of Roblox. Its community swelled to somewhere around 45 million members in total worldwide. So this was no longer a small side project, it was a true powerhouse. But that still leaves the single biggest question of all completely unanswered. How did a free game beat shooters made by giant professional studios? The answer comes down to a few smart choices that most games get wrong. The first reason is that Rivals is built almost entirely around skill. There is no luck, no random nonsense, and no cheap gimmicks to hide behind. If you win a round, it is because you out-aimed and out-moved your rival. That feeling of earning every single win is incredibly satisfying for players. Fairness might sound boring, but to real competitive players, it is everything. Every single match feels like a fresh, even chance to prove yourself. But the second reason is the one that truly sets Rivals apart from the rest. Rivals is not pay to win, and for a free game, that is a massive deal. Let me quickly explain why that one phrase matters so much to players. In many games, spending real money makes your character stronger than everyone else. That is called pay to win, and competitive players almost universally tend to despise it. Rivals flatly refused to do that, and the players noticed it almost immediately. You can still buy and unlock skins for your weapons, of course, but skins are purely cosmetic, which means they only change how a gun looks. A fancy, expensive skin does not add a single point of extra power, so a completely free player can still beat someone who spent real money. That one fair decision built a huge amount of trust with the community. Trust is the hardest thing to earn and the easiest thing to lose. By choosing fairness, Rivals earned the one thing that money cannot simply buy. Picture practicing for hours and finally beating a player who paid to look cool. In Rivals, that kind of victory is completely possible, and it feels amazing. Imagine instead losing only because the other person spent more money than you. That feeling drives players away fast, and Rivals made sure to avoid it. Competitive players want a fair, honest fight more than almost anything else. When a game finally gives them that, they stay loyal for a very long time. That loyalty is rare, and players quietly reward it by coming back daily. The result is a community that actually defends the game that it loves. You earn keys just by playing matches and completing little in-game contracts. Then you spend those keys to unlock brand new weapons and cool skins. It rewards the time you put in, not just the money you are willing to spend. Cosmetic skins let players express themselves without ever tilting the actual balance. So the people spending money and the free players all stay happy together. Skins still sell really well because everyone loves showing off their own style. It is living proof that being fair and being profitable can actually work together. The third reason is the surprisingly clever duel-pad system built into it. In most shooters, you wait around in a lobby before a match even begins. In Rivals, you simply step on a pad and you are instantly fighting. No long waiting, no complicated setup, just pure action right on demand. A quick match also means you can squeeze in a game almost any time. That instant 1 versus 1 culture makes it feel like a real esport. You can challenge a friend instantly and settle who is actually better. That bragging rights loop is something kids love to share and talk about endlessly. It is the kind of game you can play for 1 minute or for 3 hours. The fourth reason is that the team almost never stops updating the game. By late 2025, it had already received over a dozen big updates. New seasons bring fresh weapons, brand new maps, and new things to chase. Each season gives the game a heartbeat, a reason to log back in again. A game that keeps improving feels alive, instead of feeling old and abandoned. New players can pick it up in minutes, which keeps the community growing fast. Veterans keep mastering tiny tricks, which keeps the skill ceiling incredibly high. That gap between easy to learn and hard to master is the real magic formula. It is the very same formula behind many of the greatest games ever made. Put all of that together, and you get something pretty rare on Roblox. It feels like the big professional shooters, but free and built for everyone. So let me pull this all together into what Rivals really proves. First, a small team can still build an absolute giant on Roblox today. You do not need a movie-sized budget to make something millions of people adore. Second, free does not have to mean cheap, broken, or secretly pay to win. Rivals won by respecting its players instead of squeezing them for money. Big budgets can buy amazing graphics, but they cannot buy genuine player love. Rivals earned that love the slow, honest way, one fair match at a time. And that is a lesson the whole games industry is now watching very closely. Players are usually smarter than many big companies give them credit for. They can feel when a game is fair, and they reward it with real loyalty. Third, Roblox is now becoming serious competition for traditional shooters almost everywhere. A free game on a kid's platform is challenging the biggest names in gaming. Other developers are now openly studying Rivals, trying to learn its winning recipe. Expect a whole wave of new shooters trying to copy what it did right. But copying the loop is the easy part. Earning real player trust is much harder. It is easy to assume the biggest games must always have the biggest budgets. Rivals quietly proves that old idea wrong, again and again and again. What it really sells is a fair, fast, skill-first kind of fun. And that kind of fun, honestly, never really goes out of style. For players, Rivals offers something that is actually quite rare these days. It is a free game where your skill, not your wallet, decides who wins. That is the simple secret hiding behind why it keeps climbing higher. The next time you see it sitting at the very top, you will know exactly why. If you found this breakdown interesting, think about subscribing to the channel. That way, you will never miss the next big story that we break down.